What's going on, guys? It's your guy Professor O coming through with a dose of that good yolk. I'm everywhere like broken glass. I'm around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round. Now, I want to talk about the power of healing and why is that so essential to the benefit of who you are and to everyone else around you. Now, the thing about it is that when you decide to heal, because you have a lot of people walking around unhealed, and some don't even know it, which is totally fine. I'm not sitting here talking like I'm infallible. We're all a work in progress, and I think that makes us the most beautiful thing operating in a current state. But the power of healing is so profound because it's when you, again, you'll see in most of my videos, I always like hitting this crossroad path. It's either like, I don't want to veer too much over it, but in life, it's either going to be a yes or no. The maybe is the thought, the thinking, the mulling over, should I do this, should I do that, what if this, what if that. That's the middle ground, which is, necessary. But at the end of the day, you don't want to stay in the middle ground, you want to make a yes or a no. So when you decide that, maybe something's happening, maybe I do need to heal, maybe I do need to do a certain situation, how do I go about it? How do I become the person that I see myself wanting to be? Now, the beautiful thing about when you decide to heal, and when you decide to make that firm decision, like, you know what, I want to change for the better. Your thoughts, the things that you've been mulling over, are no longer just thoughts anymore. Now they're becoming action. Now they're becoming tangible, which is a very profound thing because you got to realize when you're thinking of something, it could be an idea, and I'm going to cover that later. That in itself is such a God-given gift that I don't think people literally don't comprehend the power of creation and the power of thought. Because when you're thinking of something that isn't tangible, it isn't physical as of yet. And the beautiful thing about it is when you start to bring it down, because you're bringing it down literally, like you're thinking from the top of your head, and then you're bringing it down, and then you bring it into this physical realm that we all dwell in and all share. You just literally created something out of nothing. And that in itself is so profound. I don't want to veer into it, but let's get back to what I'm saying. So when you decide you want to heal, the reason why healing is so hard, at least in the beginning, because once you start going, it becomes easier, and then you start seeing things like, oh wow, I didn't know I need to heal this, that, and third. It's because you're literally rewiring how you perceive your reality. And it all starts with triggers, and it all starts with taking things in a more personal sense. Because if you start to realize things aren't actually personal. Everything is all general until you decide to attach yourself to whatever situation that you're experiencing. It could be a conversation, it could be a television show, it could be a phone call, it could be anything that you're literally in the environment of and your physical is engaging without, consent. But now the consensual part is whether you personalize it, whether you attach yourself, whether you bring yourself there in the here and now. And that in itself is when you start to realize that, all right, maybe I shouldn't personalize my current reality so much, because a lot of things that you start to experience while you're proceeding through life and while you're progressing through life, it isn't very personal. It may be personal for the other party, but it shouldn't be personal for you, because now when it becomes personal for you, now you're on some type of field where now it's not about building anymore. Now it's a word tap. It's like, okay, you said this and I said this. Oh, but I said this, it's like said that. It's like, all right, you have a lot of brain power to be doing this. Clearly you need to be doing something a little bit more sufficient to better yourself, because for me to be wasting time, and again, once you're on the path of healing, you shouldn't even have that type of mental real estate to be able to bring that into your metron, your immediate metron at least. Especially when you're healing, you're clearing things out. Look at the other video. When it's time to clean up, the light turns on, you see all the junk. You want to clean out all the junk and have room for more beautiful, good stuff. Not when in the process of healing, and while you're healing, you're going to be in these situations where now it's time to make the difference. Because what's a trigger? If you notice, a lot of people are overly sensitive and they're very triggered by personal things that doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter. But you can't tell them that, because just because we're sharing a space, that doesn't mean we share the same reality. It's very different. We may occupy the same space, but we may not occupy the same reality. And that's what makes a difference, because the more you increase who you are, your frequency changes, your perspective changes, you feel lighter, you feel better, and then you start to realize it never really was about you, because it really isn't. And then that's when the humility starts to come in, and the generosity, and then you start to understand it, and now you're growing. It's like, for instance, people be like, oh, this guy's acting immature or mature. See, I want to, and this is just my personal opinion, I want to go more into what exactly is maturity. That's kind of like you're dealing with vegetables and fruit. Because maturity is when it's hit its ripeness. But if you're constantly growing and you're constantly progressing, how can you say that you've matured when you're still a work in progress? And that's a beautiful thing. And I say that in the most positive light. But if you're mature, you just stagnated yourself. So for me personally, I just like to say I've developed at a certain point where now I can answer this, or I can be able to maneuver in this current situation in a better light. That's about it. Now again, I state this humbly because I'm not infallible. I'm not sitting here stating that I'm this perfect all being, etc. and so forth. But if you notice, as you're talking with them, you can tell when people may subconsciously put you on that pedestal. And this is why you always want to remain humble, because that humility not only saves you, it saves them. Because now when you start to see that, and then, you know, they may not even like the fact that they put you on a pedestal, and you can see it shows, because they be like, who do you think you are? I think I'm me, but it seems that you have a different opinion of me, and this opinion is what's making you triggered, which is very interesting, because you never said anything to this and the other individual. I'll give you an example of what you're going to experience. And the reason why I say you're going to experience this is because now people, unfortunately, when they have oversensitive triggers, they project their own insecurities onto others instead of handling it themselves. And that's the issue. Because you gotta realize, again, go back to the previous video, when there's different forms of enlightenment, but my favorite enlightenment is when the light turns on, this isn't an aha or eureka moment. It's a, oh my gosh, I gotta do some cleaning. Look at how I'm acting, look at what I'm doing. You gotta conduct yourself in a proper manner. Some people don't wanna do that because it's about doing inner work. It's about understanding, like, all right, even, there's a lot of things people go through, you know, it could be past childhood traumas or relationships, whatever. So however, everybody has a different path and their different experiences. But, you know, you can't, how can you bring your past with you to the future? When the past has already happened, the future is yet to come. And if the past has already happened, truly speaking, it doesn't really actually exist. It's just a memory at this point. But the future doesn't exist neither. That's just something of what could be. So all you have is really the present. And what are you doing with your present? Are you blaming your past? Are you looking at your past? Are you trying to say like, oh, you know what I mean? You're not growing from your past? Because if you're not growing from your past and you're constantly looking at the past, where's your future? But if you're constantly looking at your future and you're not looking back at your past, so you know not to make the same little left turns or right turns, like, okay, I shouldn't make this turn here because when I made this turn, that's a dead end. So you gotta learn how to kind of take a little bit of both and mold your present so it can be the future that you desire. And I'm saying this for the ones that's actually going to do it and actually want to do it, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people that don't want to do it. And that's fine. That's their path. It's not up to you to try to change anybody that want to do what they not want to do. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to the ones that's out there that's listening and be like, oh wow, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I like how this guy's talking. He actually makes pretty good sense. It actually makes sense. Good. If it makes sense, then that means you're on the path of wanting to heal. That's it. If it doesn't make sense, other people will be like, oh man, this dude just talking, whatever. Good. I appreciate that too. Keep looking at me, keep hating on me, because I need more of that motivation. It's such a beautiful thing. Because again, it's only going to be out of these three when you're on the power of healing. There's going to be people who talk negatively about you. There's going to be people that say nothing at all. And there's going to be people that say things that are positive about you, which is a beautiful thing. If they're talking negative to you, good. Make sure you're disciplined so whatever negative that they said doesn't add up to who you are. And that's how you're aligning to who you truly are. And then it goes to saying, then now that falls back on them, because when two come to an agreement, so should be a thing. This is scripture I'm talking about right now. I need y'all to keep up for a second. And then if they're not saying anything at all, that's beautiful, good. If you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all, good. They're operating in proper positivity. But if they're saying something positive, even better. That should be motivation and inspiration for you to continue to do what you're doing. And even if they don't mean it, again, don't personalize yourself in any situation. look at things in a general aspect. Because once you personalize it, you're taking responsibility of this current situation. And it's not serious. It shouldn't be serious. It's only serious as if you take it serious. It may be serious for the other party, but then remember, a soft answer turns away wrath while harsh words stirs up anger. So if both of y'all hot, it's never going to come to a cool agreement. It just logically doesn't make sense. You know, again, when God gave you logic, He expected you to use it and to be responsible for it. Not to just have logic in certain situations. And this is why people always be like, oh, love wins, love is this, love is that. But what type of love are you talking about? Are you talking about human love? Human love was based on circumstance and situations, which, okay, if you do this for me, then that means I'm gonna do this for you. That's not how God works. God doesn't work in situations and circumstances. God loves you regardless. Whoever you were yesterday and still who you are today and who you're gonna become in the future. That love doesn't change. You never stop fellowshipping with God. I mean, God never stopped fellowshipping with you. You stopped fellowshipping with God. I don't want to get too much into that because I want to get to the healing part. Because remember, He's giving you everything for you to do it. Now you just got to do it. It's like meeting. You know, I digress. As you can see, we're going on many different angles. So I ran something down. Give me 1 second. Please, bear with me. Trust me, you're not going to see me do all this when I get my editing property and equipment back. Things like that, because right now I'm dealing with limited equipment. But we going, we moving, y'all. We doing it. We definitely doing it. So keep moving, keep grooving with me, and we're gonna keep going, all right? Definitely, most definitely. But more so what I wanted to say about that, while you're on the path of healing, you're gonna come to a crossroads where while you're healing, it's gonna be like, all right, should I forgive this person? Should I forgive this individual? Should I forgive these people, etc. so forth? 1000%. Forgiveness is a blessing for both parties. Now it's hard because I trust me, I get it. I definitely get it when you want to be like, why would I forgive somebody that did this, that, and the third? It's not about you. You hold a responsibility for who you are now. You want to hold responsibility for who you want to become. And for who you want to become, do you truly think if you see yourself in a better light, that person in the future is still thinking about whatever happened in the past in a negative sense? No, there's too much positivity going on in the future for that. But in order for you to align yourself for that future, you gotta learn, you gotta go through some tunnels and you gotta go through some paths that may be very uncomfortable for you. And these are not physical travels. This is all mental travels, which will be able to make your physical travels much lighter and much easier to navigate. Because everybody has BS that they deal with on a daily basis. You know, no one's infallible. Everyone's dealing with some type of BS, regardless of the fact. But I guarantee you this. I guarantee you that if everybody came together and they all put their BS on the table, I guarantee that you'll take your BS and run with it, because you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what other people are going through in their own situations, what they're doing for their day-to-day life. You don't know what they're doing to put food on the table for their families. You don't know what other people are experiencing and how they're feeling. But again, you also got to realize these are battles that you're taking on that they may not have the courage or the bravery to take on themselves. They may have, again, when that light turned on and they wanted to clean up, they may have turned that light back off and say, ain't nothing wrong with me. I don't want to clean. I'm all right. And that's fine, because those are going to be the lessons for you to grow, for you not to become like that. And also, while you don't become like that, it'll also create inspiration for them to be able to become a version of you. And then now they can enlighten themselves to become a version of them. Look how that worked out. You know what I'm saying? You see how that all benefited? Just off the simple fact that you're not taking things personal. You looking things in a general message. Like, okay, this individual is going through something right now. Because clearly it isn't me. Clearly this is something that, you're doing because, it's in your mental. And that's fine. That's a beautiful thing. You don't have to entertain it. Remember, a soft answer turns away wrath, while hard words stirs up anger. You don't have to entertain certain situations, because if you do, then now are you actually healing? Especially when you're in the progression state of healing. When you already healed, you're not going to even entertain certain situations, because that's not where you're thinking at right now. You don't even have the mental real estate to even take on that certain situation. But when you're in the healing process, it's going to be a crossroad to be like, yo, all right, I need to engage in this, that, and the third. But then, again, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. If you know you engage in a certain situation, whether it be with people, an environment, your workplace, anything, when you're experiencing a crossroad path or whether you should engage in this in a way that you already know the result of, how would you be able to want that future self for you if you're still doing the same things that led you to the same path of not being healed? It's like pretty much you have a scar and you picking at the scab. You're not letting it heal. You over there picking at the scab, and then what happens? It's gonna bleed again, and then now you gotta wait a couple of more days for it to heal up. You see the progress of stupidity? You don't want to deal with that. And trust me, it's so easy to fall into it because you're so used to doing it. And this is what these videos are for, to let you know that there's others out there that went through stupid stuff, and that's totally fine. But it's the choice to grow. You choose to grow. God wants you to choose. God wants you to grow, so you can be able to handle all the blessings that's coming towards your way. But in order for you to receive these blessings, you can't receive them if you're not healed. It's just not going to happen. Why? Because you're not going to know what to do with it. You're not that version of yourself that's able to understand these healed parts. But when you become healed, all right, great. You made room for more. Now you can understand the perspective behind certain things. Now you can understand how to treat these blessings when you receive them. And you'll get them. It works. It's all about being patient. And patient is another virtue you're going to need to apply. That's essential to this growth. Because patience and forgiveness goes hand in hand. Why? Because as you're forgiving yourself and you're forgiving the party that may have caused these scars or battle wounds that you have in your mentality and how you're able to perceive things. Because you got to realize, if you're looking at a lens and you're perceiving life through a lens of something that's hurt, something that's a damaged lens you're looking through. You're not getting the full picture. You know what I'm saying? You may be looking at a masterpiece right now, but your lens is damaged, so you don't really see the full volume and the full vibrance of the picture. You're just looking at it like, I like them colors. Them colors is all right to me. But then somebody else that's healed and like, this is the most beautiful experience. They were like, you looking at them like, it ain't that neat. I don't know what you talking about. I know what I see. I see this picture is alright, it makes me feel pretty alright, While other person, they're having this whole experience, like, oh my gosh, this is that. Oh my goodness, this makes me feel this, it makes me feel that, and this, that, and the third, et cetera, so forth. You looking like it's alright, But why are you still looking at it? Why? Because it's something more to it, but you may not be able to fully comprehend it because you're looking at a damaged lens. Let's clean that lens up and let's heal it. And it'll take time. Not everybody heals the same. This is why I can't tell you how to feel, but I can damn sure be straight that I won't make you feel any type of way. And if I do, then that means I have a miscomprehension of what I'm dealing with. Again, when you're truly healing and you're truly progressing, it comes to a point where it's all about teaching and learning. And as you're genuinely teaching in a genuine sense, you're learning in a genuine sense. That's all to the simple fact. That's all we doing. It's gonna keep moving and grooving. That's all. So anyway, as you're moving forward with the power of healing, when you're using all these traumatic things, because think about it like this, right? Let's say you go through something and it's traumatic. It's something that your brain couldn't fathom. It stores that energy. Because energy doesn't, it doesn't go away. It's stored. It's always in some type of storage. But the beautiful thing about that is when you're healing, you got to realize, imagine this. Imagine your trauma is positivity, but it's just waiting to be released. But being that it's congested in certain areas of your body or in your brain, you won't be able to access certain things because you got a blockage. It's a mental blockage. And what's that mental blockage? Usually oversensitive triggers. Who are you talking to? This, that, and the third. This dude may just talk loud. This dude may be going through battles. And if two people are going through battles and one is not even on the path of healing, it's going to be more battles, which is fine because that's just, again, another example of what you could be able to overcome. But let's just say that's not the case, which is not most of the time. So a lot of these energies, you got energy packets that are stored, that are just waiting to be released. Because think about it, you got so much energy packed, so much room that needs to be decluttered, and flow it out and smooth it out so it can be able to dissipate, and then you'll be able to think clearly and see things from a perfect lens. But when they're not being accessed and when they're not being addressed, You're just storing up energy. And the more you do not access these things, the more they just sit there and they stagnate. And then those becomes that energy when like you may just feel uncomfortable in certain situations. You may limit yourself in certain situations where you know that you may, you know what I mean? It's just like, it gets very complicated and disgusting. And the simplest term is to really look at it yourself and be like, you know what? I need to heal. I need to do certain things. I need to do things in a different light. And the beautiful thing about it is when you're doing it, people who know you, they're gonna be like, yo, I don't know who this ain't him. This can't be him. Why can't it be him? Because they're so used to a version of you that they don't know. They truly never knew you, but they knew what triggered you. And if they knew what triggered you, then they based that off of you. But that's not who you are. You're not your triggers. There's so much more than the triggers behind you. There's so much more to it. So instead of being known as your triggers, be known as your healing. And then when you're getting known as your healing, now it's more to you that still you would not know. You would never know. Why? Because now, if you're knowing people over their triggers, then you don't know who they truly are. You just know what they respond to. No, excuse me. Because if you're responding, you're thinking about before you're speaking. And most of the time, they're not thinking before they act. They're just reacting to it. So let's not say responses. They're known from their reactions, not their responses. Because again, most of the time, a lot of people don't think before they speak. They just talk, which is fine. It's a beautiful thing if you know what you're talking about. But most of the time, a lot of people don't. And that's fine too. You'll learn that as you go on. So now we're progressing, right? Let's say now you're addressing your traumatic experiences. Now you're becoming the person you needed when you was a child, etc. So forth. Now these traumatic pockets of energy are just, now they're being dissipated. Now they're being released. One day you may end up crying. Maybe one day you may end up so energetic you don't know what to do. One day you may just be solemn and just be quiet because now you're just full of like just solitude, and you just, you know, it's just a soul feeling that you don't know how to feel. It's just a beautiful thing. So while you're doing that and while you're in the midst of accessing those energies, it's going to become a beautiful thing. Okay, go ahead, my good man. Gotta bear with me now. I am, again, pardon that. I'm in a shelter right now, but again, good things are more so to come. So we working with it. It's not about where we at, it's about what I'm doing. That's all. So let's keep it going, let's keep it grooving. So when these things have been active, right? And now they're being activated, and now these energy sacs, they're being released. And now you're feeling better. And now you're making more room for growth. Not only did you heal yourself, those traumatic experiences now become your superpower. Because now you know how to overcome it in a way that a lot of people don't know how. Congratulations, you just gained some superpowers. People think superpowers is flying through the sky and what is that? And laser beam, laser visions. Those are superpowers that are, you know, they exist, but there's other, the most beautiful, most powerful things of being anything of super related, like supernatural, is healing. Because healing, you take the responsibility of what you may have experienced and understand, like, I'm taking the responsibility to heal myself. That's it. I'm not looking out to understand a problem that's within. I'm going inside myself and I'm looking at it myself and I want to know, how can I heal this? How can I do this? And the journey is short or the journey is long. It depends on who you are. But the traits that you receive from those benefits, from that experience, the traits that you receive from that experience and the benefits that you receive from it, no one can give you. You give yourself. And the beautiful thing is no one can take you. But the thing about it is, as you lead and live by example, people can take from that and move on. You be planting seeds of positivity and you're just having a normal conversation because you're talking from a healed place. You're not talking from a position of where you're hurt anymore. And trust me, you got a lot of people out there that's hurt. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? They're holding on to love that went wrong in middle school. Like, girl, you grown as hell, and you got kids. You talking about some love lost in middle school? If you don't get yourself healed, what's the matter with you? What's going on? And you got dudes over there, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man, she a hoe. And You call her a hoe, but dude, you shacking up with your baby mom. She got a whole whip, her own spot, doing good, happy all the time. You got to grow, my guy. You got to grow. So you could tell, and that's just certain situations. Then you got others that, you know, they drown themselves in alcohol, and marijuana, and sobriety. And again, I'm not here to judge or anything in that situation because I'm not one to judge. I'm just stating the facts of the situation. And I'm sure you all see it and they all see it as well. And just understand this, and this is for those who do indulge in these situations. I'm here to tell you that you got so much power, so much traits in you that I want to see. You know, I want to see this greatness. I want to see the greatness of everybody. Why? Because I get inspired by the littlest and the biggest things. This inspiration comes easy for me, and I think that's such a God-given thing that I'm inspired by anything and everyone. It's just such a beautiful perspective to see. But I want to see that because the inspiration that comes from the one who was damaged and that healed through the grace of God is such, it's beyond words. You know, it's beyond words. And that's the inspiration I want to see. That's the inspiration that I want to see come along. You know, like let me see this. What can you bring to the table to make me inspired and in awe? Because you know, some people just have that aura, that energy, that factor. You know what I mean? When they're moving about their day and they just have a grace to them that's just so alluring. You're like, wow. And especially when you can tell it's healed. You know what I mean? Like this is coming from a position like, yo, I don't know what this person's been through, but he's got to been through something. Or they healed so well that you don't know what it is because they come off as so healed that you be like, man, this dude is just always full of light and grace and happiness. Until you meet somebody that know him and be like, you don't know what happened to him? Yo, this dude been through this. He be like, for real? What? You can't tell. You can't tell because let me tell you something. When something is healed right, you don't see the scar no more. You don't see the scar. That's a word in itself. When something is healed correctly and it's healed fulfilled, you don't see a scar at all. That's just how that's gonna go in that situation. But anyway, guys, you know I'm always around, man. I'm everywhere like broken glass. I'm around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to the round now. See you guys in the next video. I'm everywhere. We doing it. And it ain't gonna stop, baby. You know that. You know we're gonna keep doing it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Alright? Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate all you guys for you know. Appreciate all you guys for looking forward to my next videos. The views gonna set up. Everything is gonna be an increase. That's how we do it. We ain't talk about decrease, we talk about increase. We ain't talk about subtraction, we talk about multiplication and addition. We ain't talk about division and subtraction, alright? We deal with the positive now, alright? Stay good, stay golden, stay fresh, and I'll see you guys